I mean,
all right, we're talking with Roshini, RoshiniGroup.com, and she speaks with politicians and celebrities and business leaders, and she's an image coach. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said this. And so who was best dressed?
Who was best dressed? Well, Michelle Bachmann looks good in her red.
Yeah.
And she stood out as the only woman on that stage.
Now let's talk about lying. Who did you think was lying?
Who did I think was lying? Well, you can question a couple of the things Herman Cain is saying. That's what, just based on what's coming out, how they look, kind of some of the body language and the eye contact. And then think about what they're sticking to. Like Rick Perry, he stays on his message. So you've got to wonder sometimes if they're staying so much on their message, what's really behind what they're saying.
I think, for me, Herman Cain is on the bubble. The real contenders for me are Perry, Romney, and Ron Paul. I think with, this is just my opinion, who gives a hairy rat's ass, but I think with Perry or with Romney, we have another McCain, another Bush, another Bob Dole. I mean, and that's why we're in the mess that we're in. It's just more of the same. I think Ron Paul...
Why do you think Ron Paul? Like, what gives it to you for Ron Paul?
Well, I mean, just...
on his image, it's not really there.
Well, because of people like you, but I think mainstream America, I think a lot of America loves Ron Paul. I think he does every once in a while say something kooky, like I wouldn't allow Iran to nuke up. I would absolutely level them. I also think, well, we had Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in New York. We should have put a bullet in him. I mean, if you could go back in a time machine, said the stoned guy in college, would you kill a boy, Adolf Hitler? Well, of course you would. We know what Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is. He's here in our country. Why didn't we capture him and kill him and get rid of the UN? You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding at all.
If I had been Ron Paul's coach, he wouldn't have said some of those things. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, that's where you judge who's the best leader.
The last debate, who was the fumbler? Who was the big fumbler? Who blew it?
And you're talking about last night's debate, the YouTube Fox News debate.
Right, the Fox News debate.
Well, I would probably say Michelle Bachmann, because even though, and she's from my home state.
Because she's a woman. She's a woman, and nobody believes women can lead or do anything other than cook and raise kids.
And that is so sad. You know that's not true.
No, I'm kidding. Michelle,
you know that's not true.
Bachmann's a buddy of mine. I love Michelle.
Well, she looks really good. She's a beautiful, attractive woman, and had a pretty good PR thing going.
I'd hit that.
But she says some dumb things sometimes.
No.
You got to admit.
Nah, look, I love her. She doesn't have a chance. Newt is great. He's just got he's just such an awful guy in person. But, God, what a great leader. Business-wise, he'd be great. Herman Cain, he's on the bubble. Santorum needs to go. Roshini. The image consultant on the last debate. Thank you.